A single Neanderthal hunter, alone, could bring down an animal weighing 700 kilograms. No gun, no rope, just a wooden spear, raw muscle and nerve. And a modern man simply could not do this, not because we're weaker in spirit, but because our bodies are, quite literally, weaker. So today we're going deep into the daily life of prehistoric humans to find out why. We're talking about two overlapping groups, Neanderthals, who lived across Europe and Asia until around 40,000 years ago, and early Homo sapiens hunter-gatherers, the same basic biology as us, living the lifestyle our species followed for over 300,000 years. And scientists get a living window into this world by studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes still alive today. The Hadza of Tanzania, the San of the Kalahari, the Tsimane of Bolivia, tracked with GPS devices, heart monitors, and sleep sensors. And what they found rewrites everything we assume about primitive life. Start with food. Early humans weren't eating 3 regulated meals a day. Their diet was built around whatever the land offered that week. Wild game, fish, roots, tubers, nuts, seasonal fruit, and large amounts of honey when available. And Neanderthals leaned even further into meat, with isotope analysis of their bones showing they behaved as top-level carnivores, getting almost all their protein from animal sources, meaning huge amounts of protein and fat, and almost no carbohydrates compared to a modern diet, which mattered because fat and protein fuel long, low-intensity endurance work rather than short, explosive bursts, so their bodies were built for sustained, grinding, all-day output, with resting energy needs alone estimated around 1,600 calories a day before adding the physical workload on top. That workload was enormous. Multiple studies estimate hunter-gatherers walked somewhere between 6 and 16 kilometers a day, with harsher, resource-poor climates pushing that to 19 or even 24 kilometers. And one anthropologist living among the Ashe hunter-gatherers of Paraguay recorded hunting parties covering 10 to 12 kilometers a day for 7 to 9 hours straight with almost no rest, while mothers carrying young children were estimated to cover roughly 4,800 kilometers over a child's first 4 years, child in arms the whole time. This wasn't exercise, it was survival, but the side effect was a body under constant low-grade training every single day for an entire lifetime. That training shows up directly in the bones. A Neanderthal skeleton next to a modern one looks starkly different, with thicker cortical bone, the dense outer shell that gives bone its strength, estimated to be 20 to 30% denser than ours, and around the joints scientists find pronounced entheses, the rough scars where tendons anchor into bone, which are dramatically larger in Neanderthals, pointing to far more powerful muscles pulling on that skeleton throughout life. One detailed study on shoulder and elbow mechanics estimated Neanderthal upper body strength at 1 point 3 to 2 times greater than a modern human in an industrial era job, with grip strength based on finger and wrist bone structure, well beyond ours too. And even earlier, hominids show this. A 500,000-year-old shin bone found at Boxgrove in England belonged to a man over 1.8 meters tall and well over 80 kilograms, found at a site containing the butchered remains of 2 rhinoceroses, each around 700 kilograms, hauled back and processed entirely by hand. This wasn't gym-built muscle, it was muscle built by a life with no rest days. Their weapons matched their bodies. Early spears were thick, weighted wooden shafts, often fire-hardened at the tip, built to be thrust or thrown hard enough to punch through the hide of a large animal. And using one like that for hours required exactly the dense bone and heavy muscle we just described, while stone tools tell a similar story of raw physical effort. Archaeologists have traced individual stone tools carried 600 to 700 kilometers from their source across what's now Western Europe, meaning tools and raw materials were being hand-carried across vast distances on top of the daily hunting workload. Their digestion was shaped by this same unpredictable rhythm, a high-protein, high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet eaten irregularly, feast after a big kill, followed by lean stretches after, meant their gut and metabolism were built for flexibility rather than routine, efficiently extracting maximum energy from tough, fibrous, or fatty food, since there was no guarantee of a next meal on a fixed schedule, a pattern still visible in hunter-gatherers today around a kill or a big honey harvest. And then there's the twist almost nobody expects. You'd think early humans slept long, deep, uninterrupted hours close to nature, but actigraphy studies, sleep trackers worn for weeks by the Hadza, San, and Tsimane, show they actually slept only around 5.7 to 7 hours a night, similar to or even less than the average modern person. And researchers found that none of the Hadza volunteers studied slept through the entire night. Everyone woke briefly multiple times, likely an ancient safety mechanism to stay alert to danger in the dark, so much so that none of these three languages even have a word for insomnia, with sleep ruled by the drop in temperature after sunset rather than a clock, falling asleep a few hours after dark and rising before sunrise, ready to walk again. So what happened to us? Around 10,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution changed everything. Humans stopped walking 15 kilometers a day to chase food and started farming small plots of land. Diets shifted toward grains, physical demands dropped, and over thousands of generations, our skeletons became what scientists call gracile, lighter, thinner, less dense, because the brutal daily loading that built Neanderthal-level bone and muscle simply disappeared. We didn't get weaker because our biology failed. We got weaker because survival stopped demanding otherwise. Early humans weren't stronger because they trained for strength. They were strong because their entire existence, every meal, every hunt, every long walk home, was the training, which makes you wonder how much of that power is still sitting dormant in us, just waiting for a reason to wake up. And if this blew your mind, hit subscribe. Because next time we're going deeper into human history most people never get to see.